Welcome, my friend, to Hello Main Street. I am your host, Monica Sanchez, and here we talk about thought provoking tips and tricks and ideas for fellow entrepreneurs just like you. So, let's dive in today talking about financial resources and information. I like to listen to podcasts, especially when I'm traveling long distance. It's always helpful to be able to listen since I can't read a book while I'm driving. So, the two podcasts that I have been listening to lately is Rich Habits by Robert Croak and Austin Hankwitz. What I like about these two guys, it's a younger guy. He's in his late 20s, older gentleman. He's in his mid 50s, and they share their experiences. They answer questions. That's the thing that I like the most is that they answer real people's questions about where they're at financially and what would be a good sound way for them to take care of their money or invest their money. The other thing that I like is they talk about depreciating assets, which is important, right? Because we don't know, cars as a depreciating assets, boats are depreciating assets, things like that, something you may not have been aware of. So I like that they kind of break that information down and they give it in bite-sized chunks where it's easy to do. Then, of course, they talk about investing and all of that. And then if you're like, I'm still not sure if I like the information they give as an investor, that's okay. That doesn't mean they are the end all be all. There's many out there, and you can even talk to a local investor if you want as well. The one recommendation I would say is don't talk to somebody who doesn't have money. Obviously, they might not be the right avenue for asking these specific questions. They might have a better thought process with something else, but maybe not specifically for that. And so the other one that I listen to is Erika Taught Me. She'll bring on different people who are millionaires, talking about their experiences, what they've done to achieve their goals, and really break things down. So I really like that from different walks of life. So that one's always fun. And the one that really stuck out in my mind that I wanted to share today is the one that is the secret of building wealth and the psychology behind money. Now, I think that's really important to talk about because everybody grew up differently, right? Either one parent or both parents, they were all about saving money and investing and looking for that long-term goal. Or it could be, hey, I got paid on Friday and let's blow it all. And then I will get paid next week and we'll figure it out, right? Or you could be somewhere in the middle. I know for my family childhood, when I was growing up, my mom was always about saving the dollar, really knew how to do that very well. She still does to this day. I'm amazed at what she can do with a little amount of money. And then my dad was always about spending and having fun and enjoying experiences in life, which doesn't mean that we didn't do that. It just we did it more on a frugal budget, right? So I really like those things, and it really talks. You think about when you talk about emotions and spending money. That's something that I don't know about nowadays. Maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that was not something that we talked about when we started dating, right? Usually people will talk about how many kids do you want, or where do you want to live, and what do you want to do, and things like that. But money is such a crucial part in the fabric of marriage that I think it's really important to have that discussion so you know where you're at. I know several families, and I'm not going to name any names whatsoever, but there's people who they're like, my husband spent something on an expensive item, so now I'm going to go and do the same thing, and they're just it's a tit for tat, and they're financially getting themselves into further debt. So that is not a good way to do it. So I think having a conversation would be a great idea to dive into that. And so I thought I would go ahead and share my screen here in one about couples. So I'm going to switch that on over that I had found because I'm like, is there even such a thing? So here's one that I found online. And I think, I challenge you, take this test with your spouse and see what you guys talk about and how this comes up. I think my husband and I, we talked briefly about what it looked like for us, but then we never really quite dived into it when we were, throughout our years until these last few years. That's when we really started, like, especially for me, because I'm like, how are we going to live? Or you're going to retire soon, and what am I going to do? So um, it's nice to get on the same page and get on the same page early in your relationship as much as possible. I highly recommend that. So this was just a fun one. You guys can take time out and do this, but I thought this was great, right? The habits and the messages of what one person feels versus another person, and have these discussions, because I really think that would open up a lot of dialogue and really help in that balance that you're looking for with that. And then these are the different tools to look at as far as the different ways of security and planning. Are you all about status and just wanting the Gucci handbags and the Marc Jacobs and all of that? Or are you all about giving and investing into others, or tithing, things like that? For me, sometimes I'm a little spontaneous. I'll look at something, go, oh, let's just buy it now, but then I get buyer's remorse because I'm like, I didn't plan for it. So this is a great tool. Another one that I had seen that I wanted to share with you as well is NerdWallet. Again, I like to look at different resources. Again, not one person is going to be my sounding board. I like to look at different things. But what I liked about this one in NerdWallet is that it had different things, right? So it talks about savings and debt down payment. I like that it gave you like a clear idea of what that means. And then like debt ratio. Have you ever heard of that? If not, what does that mean? So different things. And so it has this whole list down here. And then what I like, of course, we talked about this, tracking and monitoring your credit and your spending. I think that's a great tool for anybody at any point in time. And then what I like here is they also give some ways to improve, which is like the building foundations and doing things that are going to help you in the saving in the long run. And then down here, I like that they have this piece here about Banking 101, and you can open up that hyperlink and you can go get into the weeds with it, right? Or about emergency fund. Not many people have that emergency fund that I've spoken about briefly. What about building a budget? Do you have a budget? Is it something that it's just for you, or is it for you and your spouse? Do you agree upon it and how you're going to do that? So my recommendation is take a look at these. These are great tools and resources that will help you to make some decisions, or even just to learn, right? It never hurts to learn more. I feel like knowledge is power, especially when you can apply the knowledge, right? So for me, I'm all about reading books and listening to podcasts. I have a couple of books right now. I have a Think and Grow Rich that I'm kind of reading through. And then, of course, my other one that I have here is Psychology of Money. I think psychology, people forget that piece, right? So I think when you always look back in where you're at, that is always helpful, because then it'll help you to move forward. So thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you're like, I want to do something in person, we do have now classes that we will be starting on July 17th. These will be held online. It will be me who will be presenting them to you. And then at the end, we will do all sorts of different things in here, getting you through a budget, learning about these different tips and tricks that I've been teaching you, and more. And then when you complete, you get actually free 30 minutes with an attorney. Maybe you need to do a will, or maybe you want to ask about a will, or consult with them on something else. So these are all tools and resources just for you. I hope this is helpful. If you are, want more information, and you're like, I just want to talk, I just want to learn more, there's my phone number down below right there. Feel free to give me a call, or you can text me. Or if you're a person who wants to be behind the scenes, there again is my LinkedIn profile right there. Happy to help. I am here for you, my friend. And if you found this helpful, or if you're like, you know what, this may not be for me because I'm doing okay, but I know of a friend who needs some help or needs just somebody to talk to, send them my way. I'd love to talk with them, love to help, because as you know, we are always better together. So thank you so much.